Okay. Yeah, the name of Chodesh, and this should have Mashiach now. That's it. So we have a very special sikha, which is speaking about gold. It's all about gold, precious metal gold, which is very unique. And the Rav says that actually says okay, so the Rav says actually following up to last week's sikha, which is the sikha last week mentioned that we don't yet have the empowerment and okay from Hashem to build the Beis Hamikdash. And in this sikha, it seems at least one aspect, because the Rav says they actually use three terms and to reference to the fact that we don't have the ability to build the Beis Hamikdash. It says that after all the signs we see that Mashiach is already influencing the world, the nations are already now announcing that the time for the Gula is here, and therefore we have to start acting in a peaceful way and taking money from weapons and using it for the good of the country. So the Rav says, so how is it possible after all this, we still don't have the ability to build Beis Hamikdash? And the wording the Rav says they uses, furthermore, mainly that we have not yet received the notification, command, and empowerment.
Notification?
Command and empowerment.
What's the lesson?
Oh yeah, just leave it there. No. Just leave it. Just leave it. Okay. The lesson is Ha'ida v'hatzivoy u'nesinas koyach. So there's a notification, a command, and an empowerment to build regarding building the third Beis Hamikdash. So, in this sikha, the Rav Malcolm Shizdik comes and says, technically we have a stage in that, because in this sikha, the Rav Malcolm Shizdik says that we have you should make a mikdash not dwell on you, which simply means to build the Beis Hamikdash. And the Rav says, and regarding us, that means to build the third Beis Hamikdash. And the Rambam Paskins that Mashiach will build the Beis Hamikdash. And being that the Rambam says that everyone will take part in donations and in their with themselves, with their body, and with donations, so it's understood regarding the third Beis Hamikdash that every Jew will donate to it. Which, let's just read. We'll read it after. Let's see. And at the whole explanations of the verse say, furthermore, and this is the main thing, regarding the matter of the time, building the third temple in the most literal sense. After all the explanations of the verse, and make a sanctuary for me, and I will dwell among you, including its meaning in every single person. Right? Hashem dwells within every Jew. Every Jew is a miniature temple. We gotta make sure our body is always befitting Hashem dwelling in us, because Hashem does dwell in us, no matter what. So it's like when you walk into a soul, you know, you gotta act differently. We gotta act differently because we know we ourselves are a soul. Hashem rests in us. Okay, so in addition to that, that's in a more of a metaphoric sense, like in a, but it's, you know, obviously it's practical for us and as individuals. Indeed, a verse must also be understood with its simple meaning, and therefore, first and foremost, the meaning of this is, as it pertains to practical law, that the Jewish people have the obligation to build the Beis Hamikdash. And for us, this means to build the third Beis Hamikdash in the most literal sense, as the Rambam rules that it will be built by the righteous Mashiach, and he will build the sanctuary in its place. And in correlation with the words of the Rambam, everyone is obligated to build and assist with themselves, as well as with their money, both men, women, as in the sanctuary in the desert, as mentioned above. It is understood that the same is true regarding the third Beis Hamikdash. Every Jew will take part through their donations, both men and women, they say also children, as it was with regard to the contribution of the Mishkan. And this is what I was told, it's probably on video, I'm sure it's on video, on the Sunday right after the Shabbos, the women came and they brought to the Rabbi Malcolm says the big box of gold, this is like jewelry for the Beis Hamikdash, and they almost says they took it. So as far as this is what I was told. So I just let's this sikha is all about gold, and the Rambam says you got to be rich in gold. Every Jew is rich in gold, and they need to reveal it. We need to be physically rich, be physically wealthy in order to do mitzvahs in a very special way. Mitzvahs cost money. You want now? Recently, I bought Alter Rebbe's mitzvahs, very nice ones. They're not very cheap. You want nice mitzvah items. You want to buy kosher food. You got to do tefillin, all this. You need money. So you got to have gold. The Rambam says that every Jew has to be wealthy and is wealthy in gold. And if you don't see it, you got to reveal it. And the special mitzvah we could do with money is to build souls. And the Rambam says the idea is now to have money to build the Beis Hamikdash. So what does that mean for us? Obviously, it means what it says. Exactly what do we practically do for it? Well, first we have to have the gold in the first place to be able to donate it. And that is what the sikha, this is the, so to say, the punchline of the sikha. The end of the sikha, the lesson the Rambam says that we should act upon is making everyone happy, ourselves happy, other people happy, and things that make people happy, with things that make people happy, and especially tefillin. It says, right, tefillin is a mitzvah that makes us happy. Tefillin that makes us happy. Right. Your car.
Yeah.
Car is tefillin. So tefillin makes us happy, it says. It says in the Gemara, tefillin makes us happy. And then, so there's one thing that I was thinking, okay, a number of things. So Hashem's help. Let's see. So in general, gold is what's speaking about in the Sikha, and it says that gold is the Hebrew word zahav. The Hebrew word for gold is zahav. And gold means zeh hanesin bari, the one that gives is healthy. And the idea of zeh hanesin bari was thinking that zeh is the Rebbe. Malcolm says that who's the zeh? Who's this one that gives is healthy? Because it's hine zeh ba. The Rebbe Malcolm says that the zeh, and the Rebbe Malcolm says there's always giving. The Malcolm says that gives out dollars, gives out contracing, gives out keshel bracha. The Malcolm says there's always giving. And not only, like, some people give big donations and some people do a lot of good things. But the Malcolm says this, like, giving is like part of the whole, it's like, it's it's the giving aspect. It's not only the what's being given. It's the so that's the Rebbe Malcolm says the Zeh Hanisin Bari. The Malcolm says it's healthy, and that's the certainty. So the Rebbe Malcolm says that in this Sikha says that we only the thing left is to greet, is to accept, actually to accept Mashiach. The only thing left is to actually accept Mashiach. Okay, so what does that mean? It is certain that Hashem blesses every Jew with physical and spiritual wealth of gold, including in a manner as it was in the days you left Egypt. Similarly, now I will show them wonders and ultimate redemption, that there was not one Jew that did not have with him 90 Libyan donkeys loaded with gold and silver from Egypt. So we have to be really wealthy. So this Sikha, it mentions a Sikha. You could say it's connected. There was a woman that had Mesiras Nefesh. She gave up her life for Hashem. That she didn't want. There was a non-Jewish man that tried to force her to be with him, and she didn't agree, and she gave up her life for her sanctity of Hashem. And that's based on one of the other opportunities we had of studying. So there's a Sikha, the Rambam says that when we left the Babylonian exile, we weren't able to, even after we left and we all came back to the Holy Land, we couldn't build the Beis Hamikdash till Ezra separated the men from their non-Jewish wives. And in that talk, it says that the key to having the third Beis Hamikdash is there no intermarriage. So being in this Sikha, it mentions it at the end of the Sikha that there was a woman that gave up her life for Hashem, and that was her Mesiras Nefesh, was not to be with a non-Jewish man. And you could say maybe that's what it says here in the merit of the women, the Gula comes. So maybe that's how we had the turnaround. That in the Mishpatim, the Rambam says we didn't yet receive the Haidah and Tziva Nisinas Kayach. And now the Rambam says this is coming with a different angle. We're having like a different angle. The Beis Hamikdash is a practical thing. Exactly how to see it and do it. Let's hope. It's been a while already. We gotta see how to make it happen. It's obviously there's still things, Mashiach has to build it. We could just give the donations, but it's certainly we have a turn. There's certainly a turn, and certainly we gotta get going. So among the ideas that I was researching is what else is the content of gold. Okay, we know, and it says in the Sikha that gold means a Jew. A Jew is gold. Every Jew is gold. Every Jew is special. Every Jew has treasures. Every Jew deep down wants to do everything Hashem wants from him, and that's the only thing he wants. He doesn't want to do it. He doesn't want to do it for any ulterior motive. Deep down, he wants to do what Hashem wants because that's the right thing to do, and deep down he's connected to Hashem. So obviously he wants to do what Hashem wants. So that's the meaning of gold in the sense that it's brought in the Sikha. And then there's other Sikhas that talk about gold, that explain other aspects of gold. That gold represents Gvura, it represents Mesiras Nefesh, and it represents Tshuva. And this is when we look at the difference between gold and silver. It's not really talking about in the Sikha here, the difference between gold and silver. it's just speaking about gold for the most part. But the difference between gold and silver is that gold is gvura and silver is chesed. Gold is severity and silver is kindness. And I just saw now that gold is the idea of about tshuva, someone that's returning to Hashem, and silver is the idea of avodas tzaddikim. And that's why silver is more, in Hebrew, the word for silver is kesef, which kesef is the commonly used currency. Commonly used currency is silver. Till today, it's to some degree, but certainly like 100 years ago, that's how it was, that silver was the common currency. Gold was unique, but silver is the common currency to the extent that the Hebrew word for money is kesef, silver. So that's like avodas tzaddikim, which is the avodah that's like, so to say, the ideal, what's it supposed to be, so to say. And then about tshuva, that's the idea of gold, that it's beyond the regular, it's above and beyond the regular. And that's the idea, like it says in the Sikh over here, that, which has to do with gvura, it says, okay, where is it? Not only must he have this, rather, every Jew is rich in actual reality. And even if this is not revealed or in a physical sense, it is not because it doesn't exist, heaven forbid, because the Jew must reveal it through his service. And on the contrary, through one revealing it from the darkness, concealment, it attains the phenomenon of the advantage of light from darkness. In addition, the words here is in the riboy shel shefa rav from gishmei bracha. In addition of an immense abundance of rain of blessing, but even shel tagur sachayis, in a manner of an intense boost of liveliness. So the lesson is tagbura sachayis.
How do you do that? How do you accomplish that?
You have to reveal your gold, your wealth. You have to reveal your wealth, and if it's not revealed, and now you're revealing it, so now it's going to be Yisrin Orm and Achoshach. It's going to be the advantage of light over darkness, and it's going to be a Tagbura Sachayis. It's going to be an intense boost of liveliness. It's like, I think the muscle given in Chassidus is that when water is stuck underground, when you let it go, it bursts out. Right? There's such an idea, I think. So it says in the footnote that that's the idea of Adar, Perusai, Toikef, Gvura. So we have over here the idea of Gvura. It doesn't say clearly that gold is Gvura, but it explains that in elsewhere in Chassidus, that gold has to do with severity, with severity meaning an intense boost of liveliness. Tagbura Sachayis. So that
How
is.
do you reveal your wealth?
So it says, okay. Indeed, now we have the instruction that the Jew must put effort to be rich in the literal sense, beginning with being rich spiritually. Wealth is only in knowledge, meaning one should be rich in Torah and mitzvahs, including physical wealth, so that he can fulfill Torah and mitzvahs with peace of the soul as well as tranquility of the body, as the ruling of the Rambam, and have the ability to exceedingly add in giving charity, as well as the fulfillment of the commandments in an excellent manner, and continuously enhance the manner of the commandment fulfillment, and in general to utilize the wealth, gold, silver, and copper, for making one's own home into a mishkan and sanctuary for Hashem, and I will dwell among you in each and every person, including through giving charity to build a synagogue and study hall in the literal sense, which is called a miniature sanctuary. So the Rambam says to begin with being wealthy spiritually. Got to be wealthy spiritually, meaning wealthy in Torah mitzvahs, including physical wealth. Why? Because that's going to help you be even more wealthy spiritually. Being wealthy physically will enhance your spiritual wealth. Okay, so that's when a person, I saw a letter once, the Rebbe is telling someone that he's rich because he got a bracha on the Rebbe Ayatz. He's rich, but he's not organized, so he doesn't see it. It's an interesting letter. And in general, there's such an idea that wealth doesn't mean that your neighbor has to say you're wealthy. It's not about showing off that you're wealthy. That's not the point here. The point is to be able to, when you're wealthy, to utilize it to enhance your Torah mitzvah observance. That you should have peace of mind. Because if a person, heaven forbid, is not wealthy or is the opposite of wealthy, then they have constantly a headache. And the ultimate wealth is a sicha and chelakei, that in general, wealth could also, heaven forbid, distract a person. If a person is wealthy, especially if they're a businessman, they might be running around doing too much business, and it will distract them from being wealthy spiritually. But the Rambam says in that sicha that is the chiddush of the Gula, and that's, I guess, approaching the Gula, we have that ability. That wealth should not distract the person, and the way the Rambam expresses it there is that just like Yankov Avinu, when he went to sleep, it says Hashem put the whole Eretz Yisrael under him. So Hashem can make it the same thing for a Jew, that all his business dealings will come to him, and he won't have to fly to other countries. It's a very interesting idea. The Rambam says the reason that sicha about being wealthy and still it won't distract you, and it will. And this sicha says it's going to actually assist you. And the Rebbe says that brings from the ruling of the Rambam. The Rambam writes over there in Hilchos Tshuva about Hashem giving us abundance of physical wealth in order to be able to serve Hashem with peace of mind and with joy. And that's certainly for us to strengthen. Take half of it, okay? Don't take the whole thing. The ability to utilize our money for the right things, right?
Yes.
To be able to be strong in our Torah mitzvah observance. And it says here to give children their own money, that they should give from it to tzedakah. And that's something the Rebbe says that does. I noticed it seems to be quite common that the Rebbe says that will have the children be given 2 dimes. 1 dime they're supposed to hold in tzedakah, and the other dime they can do whatever they want with it, which obviously they should want to also do mitzvahs with it. But the Rambam says that's a custom in today's world that we give children their own money, and then they could give tzedakah from their own money, which is an interesting idea. To give the opportunity to the child to make the right decision with his money. So the main point, one of the main points in the Sikha is about being happy. Because this month is a month of joy. We just entered now into the month of Kislev, a month of Adar. So the month of Adar is a month of joy. Every month has a unique quality. There's certain months that we single out for their quality. This is one of the months that we single out for its quality. That it's the month of joy. Once the month of Adar enters, we enter a month of joy. And obviously, the greatest joy that says in the Sikha is that a Jew knows well, no matter what, he's always connected to Hashem. He always has his connection to the greatest of the great. And what else could there be that could be more than that? A Jew is always connected to the greatest of the great, Hashem. So that's the greatest joy we could have. And obviously, the more we reveal that, the more happy we will be, right? We'll reveal our connection to Hashem, the more joy we'll have. And that's the great merit that we have. So to correct, a number of things. To correct, number one, I realized I made a mistake. There's a typing error in the Dvar Malchus of Beshalach. At least this will be an opportunity to correct a typing error in the Dvar Malchus of Beshalach. A very, very slight typing error, but even one letter can make such a big difference, and that's how complicated this whole translation story is. So there's actually one letter that's making the difference, but every letter makes a difference. So let's see where it is. That's in the Malchus B'Shalach. It's speaking about the difference between now and the past in history. In past in history, our emphasis in our davening was to yearn to unite with Hashem. And in our generation, the goal is not to unite with Hashem, rather the goal is to become one with Hashem. Okay. Again, you should dry your hands before you take dry your hands. Yeah, that's how it works. It's a law. You got to show. Oh man. So the Rebbe says over here, like this: the main perfection is accomplished on the 10th and 11th of the month this year. The 11th month this year. Today is the last day. Now we entered already the 12th month. But today was the last day of the 11th month. The 42nd year, which is connected to the name of 42 letters. I just saw now the Shema has 42 words. I think it mentions it here somewhere, maybe. Shema, the first part of Shema has 42 words. Anyway, so that's 42 is a very significant Jewish number. So, with all the aspects of the elevation accomplished, are accomplished through it. The name of Hashem has 42 letters, denoting that all the elevations of 42 Yemei Lulas have been completed, as well as all the elevations to our actions and service during the 42 years of the leadership of the Rabbi King of Sales, in addition to the perfection of, and it was in the 40th year, which are similar, correspond to the 42 travels in the desert of the nations in this generation. Okay, it's supposed to say in this generation. There's a typing error and it says in this generations in plural. But that's not how it's supposed to be. It's supposed to be in this generation. Now it's technically quite obvious typing error because you would say if it was generations in plural would have been in these generations. But the fact that there's a typing error, it's supposed to be in this generation. Now, what's the significance of this error? Because it says right after that, in this generation, the last generation of Galus and the first generation of Gula. And if it's plural, we have a major typing error because it's not two separate generations. It's not that there's the last generation of Galus and then there's the first generation of Gula. there's only one generation, and the Rambam says that emphasizes this in other places and says that the last generation of Golos, it itself is the first generation of Gula. That's what it means, and that's what it means here also, and that's why it's not in plural. It's this generation in singular. But that's a typing error, so that has to be corrected. So that's number one. Number two, last week I made another mistake in saying that when it says you beat the swords, they'll beat the swords into plowshares and the spears into pruning hooks. So I said last week that that's referring only to the bare necessities and not to like extra things. And in the footnote, it actually seems to imply the opposite. It says, not only bread, which is necessary for the existence of humankind, rather also pleasurable foods like fruits of the tree, as emphasized in the continuation of the verse, and their spears into pruning hooks, tools used to prune vines and other trees. And note the relation to Rosh Hashanah for the trees, which we are now coming from, in which there is emphasis on the addition of pleasurable things, vine, fig, pomegranate, olive oil, and date honey, to the necessity, and it's in addition to the necessities of wheat and barley. So actually, beating swords into plowshares is the idea also of helping the humanity have pleasurable foods, in addition to the necessary foods. That was another mistake I made. And this week we're trying to do better and not making mistakes, hopefully. So let's hope we didn't make any mistakes today. And we are coming this month is the same kvius, it's the same way the calendar is layout as the calendar layout of 1991 of the Sikha, because wash your hands, and you have to wash again for bread. You wash for bread?
I wash for naked.
Okay, you should really wash here, and you have to wash for bread. So this year it's Gimel Dalit. The Rosh Chodesh is on Tuesday and Wednesday. Today was the new month, and tomorrow is the new month. And that is a whole explanation here.
You should say Al Netilas Yadayim.
That is Hashem's name. Thank you. Okay, so what's the Gimel Dalit? The month this week is Gimel Dalit. So Ashkal Brothers this week, I came across a new sefer on the laws of writing Torah scrolls, and it was speaking about that the Alter Rebbe in Shulchan Aruch compares the letter Beis in the Hebrew alphabet. The letter Beis and the letter Chaf are very similar, and the letter Resh and the letter Dalet are very similar. And if the Alter Rebbe compares, and that's how this rabbi deduced what he deduced, that if a person accidentally made a race with a corner on the right, he didn't make a round, he made a corner. He didn't make a part sticking out of it like a dalet usually has. He just made it that it's square on top. Yeah, I guess.
It's more like corner.
A corner, right?
Yeah.
Like, so then, even though there's no part sticking out, he says that makes the letter completely disqualified. You have to erase the entire letter. You can't just erase that little part that you missed. The person made a mistake on making it square. He has to erase the entire letter because that's not a race. That's a dalet. So in this talk, it's talking about the difference between a race and a dalet, that both mean poverty. Race means poverty, and dalet means poverty. But there's a difference between the two types of poverty. It says race is the idea of poverty that's completely. The structure of the letter dalet is similar to the structure of the letter race. A right foot with a roof on top. However, the letter dalet has the addition of a point. Okay, a point. It doesn't say it has a part sticking out. A dot at the back of the roof. And this dot represents the concept of self-nullification, bittul, which connects the recipient, malchus, kingship, which does not have anything on its own, with the provider. That's the sphere of Yisoid. As such, that there becomes Gmol Dalim, providing for the poor. A race doesn't have that.
Race is even more poor. Yeah.
Correct. And our service of Hashem, this dot of the Dalet refers to the essence of Jewishness, which is present in every Jew, whatever state he might be, which connects him with the providing flow from above. And they say that the concept of Gmol Dalim, that even when a Jew is in a state of Dal, he's poor, he still has the dot at his back. I wrote in parentheses in his back pocket. In my idea, in his back pocket. At his back, in its complete entirety, was accomplished by the giving of the Torah, as mentioned above, that then was the annulment of the decree separating the higher realms and the lowest realms. And there was the phenomenon of you chose us. Hashem chose the Jewish people, namely the Jewish people, as souls and bodies below. And from then on, it is not possible anymore for there to be the concept of race, Roshim, by the Jewish people. Meaning, before the giving of the Torah, there was also the phenomenon of godliness being drawn below. However, then it was in a manner of Gmol Roshim, that the lowest realms, Roshim, remains a separate entity from the higher realms. Whereas by the giving of the Torah, the phenomenon of Gmol Dalim was achieved, the unification of the higher realms and lowest realms. In other words, Gmol Dalim, what it seems is that when there's Gmol Dalim, the Dal becomes Oiz Dal. He's no more Dal. When he's getting the providing, he's now no more.
He's connected to the provider, right?
Yeah, and he's
a recipient.
He's a recipient, and he doesn't remain a Dal anymore. He changes around. He's not Dal anymore.
He still has the Dal, so what does it become?
So the Rebbe says that a different Sikha says that it changes to Dilisani. Dilisani is a different meaning of Dalet. It's like, it means uplifting. Put that back.
Yeah.
There's
So it's like the opposite.
Dilisani is like that. Turning it around. It's like turning it around. Right. The Dalet becomes Dilisani.
So Tehillim?
Yes, we say, Mimcha Hashem ki Dilisani.
Right.
Loi simachta ivaili. Right? That's the Dilisani.
Right.
It's interesting. I just saw this something, I don't remember it so well. I saw that poverty is such a terrible thing that even it never go away. It never goes away, poverty. I saw it somewhere, I read this somewhere, that
even
after they become no more poor, there's still Yeah, there's still something left from the poverty. But it seems that the Rambam says that here is like if that's in reference to Rosh. That's the poverty of Rosh. That even when they do get, they're still lacking. They're still, but Dalit is not that way. Dalit is higher. That it doesn't remain. That the poverty doesn't remain. That it becomes Gemol Dalim, and it's a whole nother story.
It's more an aspect of giving.
Right. It's more of a.
More connected to giving.
There are those that well, look, the Rambam says that I just heard this week. Hashkacha brought this. Someone said in Shul, he said it became more the new thing to be a shliach. Why? Because a businessman, you chas v'shalom can get into trouble with taxes.
Oh.
But you be a shliach, you get no trouble with taxes. This is the guy who was announcing. So he said it's now the new in thing. Shluchim are very rich. And it's the new in thing to be a shliach because this way. Now this came up in a conversation because he put on speaker. There was some shliach trying to get a donation out of him, a $72 donation, and he was like, he finally gave it to him after it seemed like a few phone calls of the shliach trying to get a donation out of him. So he kept trying to say shluchim now are very wealthy. He should come. Well, anyway, the idea is technically. The Rambam says that wants everyone to be wealthy. That's the Nakuda here. Everyone got to figure it out. We got to figure it out. For everyone, no matter what your job in life is, you got to be wealthy. No matter how, what, when. But the point, the first and foremost, and when you have your perspective corrected, that itself helps. That we got to know the first and foremost is to be wealthy spiritually, and that the physical wealth will enhance our spiritual wealth. That's the idea. The idea is to enhance our spiritual wealth, enhance Hashem's other spiritual wealth, and Hashem should help that the idea of Mesiras Nefesh, it almost says that it's technically changing into gold, Kipshutai. Instead of having Mesiras Nefesh, the idea is having physical gold and remain souls and bodies and in abundance, like the Rambam says in Tetzaveh, that in Purim, they didn't have to give up their lives. On the contrary, after them having a hard time, but finally they did not give up their lives. They remained in the world, and it was like about Mordechai, it says he got the house of Haman, he was wearing very fancy clothes, and everyone was joyous. The whole thing turned around. So the idea is not to have Mesiras Nefesh leaving the world. Rather, we should have physical gold. We should have gold in the physical sense, not gold in the spiritual sense of it being Gvura and Chasam Mesiras Nefesh. Rather, gold in the physical sense of being souls in bodies, and especially the Zahav, the Zehanesing Bari, the Rebbe considers is bari, is healthy, and we should see it with our own eyes. We should see the Rebbe says that take us out of Galus and build the Beis Hamikdash, gather all the Jewish people to be in meeting.
Beautiful. I think I'm gonna buy a lottery ticket.